Hello and salutations, it's me, Sal-T. Welcome back to 2 Cents Swiss, and today we're going over the Marvel Legends Winter Soldier from the Crimson Dynamo wave or the Black Widow MCU wave, whichever you want to call it. But I picked this up on local GameStop for the price of like 22 bucks-ish. I had it on pre-order and he finally decided to grace us with his presence. He's a couple weeks late, maybe 2 months late at this point, who knows. But looking at the box, you see we get a pistol, rifle, Winter Soldier, bath piece. Winter Soldier at the bottom, Marvel Legends on the top. Marvel logo on the top with a paper J hook. Side of the box, we get some artwork. Same artwork on the other side. Bottom of the box is that legalese that no one cares about. Back of the box, picture of Winter Soldier, little read up. Everyone else is in the wave. All that out of the way, I'm going to get him open, go over the accessories, go over articulation, all that fun stuff. As always, what else is in the package? We got his sidearm, which appears to be a 9mm, 1911 perhaps, cast in kind of a gunmetal gray, sort of. It looks black up close, but it's kind of a olive gray color in person, and extremely bendy. Unfortunately, I guess there's that. Same thing for his long arm, which appears to be an M4, and again, it looks black on camera, but it's kind of a sort of silverish gray color in person. And again, the bendiest plastic you ever did see. Seems like they're really skimping on these weapons. I guess there's that. Also, his dust cover is open, so should probably keep that closed, especially if it's set to safe, like it is right now. Which brings us to Winter Soldier himself. I believe this is kind of an update to that 2-pack from Toys R Us with him and Black Widow. I don't have that one, so I won't be able to do a side-by-side comparison, but I noticed that there's no ball hips, which is good because I think those are unsightly. I don't care if you can kick out to a 90 with them. They're ugly and they have no place in this line. But before I go over any of my gripes, let's just go over articulation real fast. So just like the Red Guardian, he has a dumbbell going up into the head instead of that kind of disc configuration that we're used to. So because of his long hair, you kind of have to shift the head back and then kind of crane up, and he can look up a little bit. Conversely, if you shift the head forward, you can get him to look down. He can still look side to side, and you get a little bit of tilt with that dumbbell joint, but it's kind of difficult to work with, and his hair crashes, which keeps him from, tilting too much. You can do this, though, because of the shifting, so I guess there's that. And as I mentioned earlier, of course, he can shift back and forth. Shoulder spins 360 with no problems. He can bring his shoulder up past 90, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows come up at a 45, wrist swivel, and even though both hands are trigger hands, the hinge goes in and out instead of up and down on both wrists. Brings me to complaint number 1. There's a lot of gapping going on between the wrist and the actual hand here. It's not as bad on the other wrist, but you do run into kind of big forearm, skinny hand. They didn't taper that very well. You can lean forward that far, lean back that far, waist swivel, kick forward at a hair under 90, can't really kick back at all, kicks out to about a 45, thigh swivel, double jointed knees come all the way up, ankle goes back, not really forward at all, and an ankle rocker. Some of the complaints I kind of already showed you. I don't really like this new neck configuration that they're doing. Of course, the wrists, they don't really taper well into the forearms here. And the biceps look fine like this, but for some reason, whenever you bring up his shoulder, his arm just looks really skinny all by itself. I don't know how to explain it. Also, the articulation in the ankles, the boot kind of crashes into itself just in the laces, so that's kind of frustrating. I'm also not a big fan of molded in weapons. Like, they could have just left that pistol out and let us holster the pistol there, but they didn't give us that option. I do like the addition of all these magazines. I think that's a nice touch. The grenade is fun. This knife, though, is absolutely pitiful. Look at that. That's how thin the handle is. I know they said they were going to be cutting back on plastic to try and keep the price down, but you know what? Just don't even give us a knife if that's what you're going to do. I'd rather that not even be there, to be perfectly honest with you. I do like his magazine holder here on his chest, his bandolier of sorts. The arm could be reused. I really can't think off the top of my head. Maybe Deathlock or someone like that. Nice paint apps though on the star. And it's hard for me to tell exactly how much of this is reused because, again, I don't have the comic book Winter Soldier from the Black Widow 2-pack from Toys R Us. But I believe these legs have been used with Killmonger at least. As for the rest of them, I really don't know. I'm not going to wildly speculate. I like the face well enough. I like the kind of swoop in the hair. It's a nice wash along the hair to bring out some of that detail. And the sculpt overall is very nice, even if it is reused. I also like the addition of these deep cuts on the knees to allow his knees to bend, really far back. Just wish the ankle articulation was better, and I wish there had been a boot swivel. I also wish these weapons weren't so rubbery. Like, that's absurd. You know, like, even just a little firmer, like a little give I don't mind so it doesn't snap, but this is just ridiculous. I'm happy to have him, regardless of my complaints, just because I don't have a comic book Winter Soldier for the shelf. I had been using the MCU Winter Soldier for a while. I preferred this one out of the two-pack one, so at least I have him to replace him on the shelf now, I guess. And that's really all I got for today. Kind of a quick, dirty review. Again, I don't have much to do side-by-side comparison, but let me know down in the comments if you've picked up any of these new Marvel Legends and how you feel about their quality. Even with the previous two I reviewed, with Sunfire and X-Man, it feels like they're skipping some steps recently, and maybe they're stretching themselves too thin with the G.I. Joe line, the Power Rangers line, and the like. Maybe they're just, stretched too thin recently. And I know they've been going hard in the paint with the 40th anniversary for Empire, so maybe they're cutting corners on Marvel Legends to supplement Star Wars. Who knows? Or maybe they're just cutting corners to try and keep the price down to the $20 range instead of increasing. Who knows? We can wildly speculate down in the comments if you want. Like I said, that's all I got. So if you liked the video, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. I'm Sal-T, signing off.